Looks like my cat is joining us. So
What's up, cat? All right, new mic goes right here, maybe? Cool. All right, sick. I'm ready. I'm definitely ready.
okay, me too. Sure.
So you got all the stuff ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Did you already make a house and characters, or are we going through that too?
I did make one. I was actually just starting to make a second one. But
A second character or a house?
A second house.
What?
I had a couple of fun ideas, so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, sure. I was like, oh dang, okay, if you don't tell me ahead of time what it is, because, you know, that's the way it should be anyway, I won't know what to prepare, and I'll just have to make up a bunch of stuff. So I was like, okay, I gotta find basic ideas, what I can use. But I think I got some funny stuff, maybe, or not fun. You know, not everything's funny, but I haven't had anyone come to the table with one yet, so I don't know if. Okay. I guess, yeah. What is it? How does it work? Who is it?
All right. Well, I was trying to be a little bit sillier than I normally am.
What?
So, yeah. So, the first house that I was doing, it's called Olive Grove.
Okay.
And it's actually a play on Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the restaurants across the whole, I don't know what your world is called. Sorry.
It's cool. I don't know either because I can't remember.
Okay. Perfect. So anyway, it sends the top performing chef and hostess as its members.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not totally sure where to start, but
no, that's dope. Man, let's see here. Okay. Oh, none of these ideas work, but I do have this already.
Okay. Like I said, I did have another idea that I was just starting, but I had some questions on your magic.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just answer the questions because so you're playing D&D right now, but it's not silly.
I mean,
it's serious ish.
It's both, yeah.
Okay. I think that people who are playing right now or have played a bunch Preceptor and Ewok will find ways to screw the system, and so that's why I'm okay, I gotta answer all these questions ahead of time so that when they get it, it's just ready for them to try, and anything that they find is going to be absolutely game breaking, I think. So what are the questions on magic?
Okay, so I know that you said that it's kind of very short bursts of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And my questions were more on magic that actually physically interferes with things. The idea I had was if there was some kind of magic to create a wall out of whatever sort of earth is there. Once that magic dissipates, is the earth just going to go back to exactly how it was, or are the physical aspects that were changed still going to be changed?
So Ichor asked about transformation stuff, and I was like, well, it's only going to work for the very short burst, 3 seconds ish, or resurrection magic would only be, in theory, if you could pull it off, 3 seconds. So why would you do it? Or removing blindness or whatever. So on people, definitely we already got it. It goes back.
Right. So I guess I was thinking more druidic sort of magic where maybe you're making a wall out of whatever the earth is. Well, if it's sand, then sure, it makes sense that it would maybe just fall back into place once it was done. But if it's stone or something like that, I guess was more
Yep. That's cool. I have a bunch of notes that I'm scrolling through because I might have worked on it before. I'm not sure. My idea was fire, obviously, because everyone uses fire. A fireball would go out because there wouldn't be anything to sustain it except for like the oxygen, so there would be no like fuel. Where's my magic notes? All right, warlocks. That's not really helpful. Would it make sense if you summon something that's set up, it stays, but
essentially, like, think of an egg. Once you boil it, you can't unboil it. That sort of idea.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to like think of a bunch of different scenarios that aren't that to see if I can break that. You know what I mean? Like, if
I'm trying to break stuff already.
No, it's cool. I think it makes sense that it would stay, but if we continue to extrapolate like further and further and further, like so like let's say you summon some sort of like crazy meteor thing. Or not summon. I guess you would have to summon it, so you couldn't do that. Because it would be like an item, even though it was falling. Okay. What if you... I think something like making a tree grow wouldn't work because it's living, so it would revert just like the blindness, I think. Just like transformation. So that's out. What else could you do that would... Okay, so let's say you use magic on a lock to unlock it. It makes sense that it would stay unlocked. So I think if you made a wall of earth, it would also make sense that it would stay. The only thing would be like, if you made a wall of earth in a spike through someone, then you break the game because they are speared.
Right. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought about that combat aspect of it. Okay.
I think... So in that case... I think it still makes sense, because if the system of magic were like, you can affect non-living things far easier than living things, what you wouldn't be able to do is, so like I already have the system where like you prep a bunch of stuff, especially for Ichor, like it's a bunch of weapons, right? He's got a room and you can summon them to you to use and they stay there, but you can't just make new weapons out of thin air, right? So the best way he could possibly use it that I can think of, which should immediately not be possible, is he should summon like a hatchet, you know, just like a basic hatchet. He should summon it into someone's body, because that would kill them. Like, immediately, doesn't matter how much damage it does, there's an axe rolling around inside you now, you're dead. So I think that affecting a living organism would be way more difficult and probably not doable. So in the case of your earth wall, summoning the earth wall, boom, easy. You block a fireball, you climb up on top of it or whatever, right? But you wouldn't be able to like spear someone with it. Gob is giving us the chemical makeup of fireballs. Yeah. Yeah. So like throwing a fireball is the way everyone does it, but if you can make a fireball, why wouldn't you get close enough to someone and make it inside them? Like, then you just kill them. Also, yeah, manipulating something that's there is true too.
I think that distinction of whether you're creating it or just changing something.
Yeah, but in the case of chat, in the case of a wall of earth, right? There is no earth here, and then you pull the earth up, and then it's there, right? So what's underneath it? More earth? Did you create more matter in order to bring the wall up? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it would work, though. I think that all that sort of magic makes sense. It's just when you start affecting people's, or not even people's, when you start affecting things that are alive, it doesn't work probably most of the time, even though I'm sure there are ways to make it work.
No, I think that makes sense.
Like Magneto. Magneto just makes things really thin in order to create large things from small things, right? So it's the same way.
Sure.
Every time I'm like, okay, will this work? I'm like, okay, if they were X-Men, how would it work? That's what I do on all these circumstances.
So X-Men logic. Okay.
Yep. Sort of. I mean, yeah. And I know the word midichlorians, I think. And so occasionally I'm like, okay, but the midichlorians. And then I'm like, I don't know what they do or how they work, but I think about them occasionally when I'm trying to think things through. I don't even know how to spell it. Is that how you spell it? Midichlorians? I don't know. In the wall example, if there's a hole under it, the wall stands until knocked down. Yeah. But there must be breakable ways to do it. Like, if you could influence air, why wouldn't you pull all the oxygen out of a space around a person to kill them? But in theory, then they could just walk out of it. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. we're not rationalizing magic fully, Gov. It's just rationalized enough that it's a system that makes sense without too much thought, you know? So like once you get a couple basic rules, boom, it works across everything. That's the goal. And what's really funny is that was the whole point of like me making a game versus just learning some other game, right? I was like, okay, well, I'll just make it really basic and then it won't matter, you know, all of this stuff won't matter and I won't have to think about it, right? And then I was like, okay, I got to write this stuff down so that Ewok and everybody can read it. And it's 9 pages already. And I haven't even done a couple of the categories. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so freaking long. But a lot of it's like examples and stuff.
Yep.
Good question. Other questions about magic?
I think that was mostly it.
Cool. I do think druids, earthbending. Well, okay, so it depends on the druids, I guess, but it might work for every druid kind of spell. I don't know about like taking over an animal. Let's see. The animal would already have to be there, and it wouldn't last for very long, I don't think. So why would you do it? I don't think that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We worked through a lot of scenarios. Good job. Any other questions on anything else?
On the abilities section, are you supposed to identify what stat those would be using or anything like that, or just?
Originally, I thought yes, but I don't think so. No, I think it makes more sense to know how it works and know how you would use it, and then later be like, oh, I'm going to use it completely differently. And that's, again, the like, does this make sense kind of thing. I see, I've been watching a bunch of D&D to like learn about the process or whatever, I guess. And a bunch of people are like, can I use this ability in this way? And then like they're using it some different way than normal, and the DM is like, well, I'm gonna allow that this time. But I don't really like that, because if you thought of a way to use the ability, you should be able to do it because it makes sense, you know? You just like explained it. So instead of being like, oh, well, this is a combat ability, but can I use it for my grit? I think it should just be, this is an ability this character knows, and they're going to use it in either of those scenarios. Yep. That's why I told Ichor to pick, like, if he wanted to make a cleric from the like D&D style, just pick those abilities, and then he could probably try to use them differently, like in ways that D&D might not let you. Has the game changed much since we tried it, Gob? I don't think so, no. It seems to be going pretty smoothly so far. I do need someone to pick ranged so that we can do that, but it doesn't have to be you, A, and B, I don't think it's gonna be messed up or anything.
Okay.
But like, ranged is the most important, probably, like, possible fault, I think, because like ranged already is just broken for like reality, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't broken in this.
Ranged is my favorite, like, combat style, but I didn't even think about it.
You could do some ranged Olive Garden stuff.
I guess I could throw knives or something.
Oh, yeah. Knife throwing would work. Noodle bending might work. Spaghetti monster, go. Oh, that would be cool if you had like a I don't know how it would work though. If you had like a Pokemon style, like food dish Pokemon attack crew, where your abilities were just your different dishes made into animals. Like spaghetti squirrel. It could work. All right, cool.
It only lasts for 3 seconds, though, right?
Well, I don't know. You would have to have the stuff there, but I would assume if those were your abilities, then you would already have them, right? So you'd probably have like a backpack full of spaghetti and like noodles and junk, right? And then,
sure.
Yeah. So okay, so you made shoot, you said it already. something garden or something. I don't remember what it was called.
Olive Grove.
Olive Grove, dang it. Literally not the thing that I said. But the abilities, are they like not combat, or are they?
No, I have some combat. I was kind of trying to stay more away from magic when I was doing this one because I wasn't totally sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like the chef, who would be the champion, I picked like cleave, and I made one that said kitchen dodge.
Of course.
Of course. Quick slice, and then a spicy season, where they might like flick some pepper in your face or something.
All right. Are the breadsticks good?
Depends who you ask.
Okay, so no. If it's not universally accepted, no. A
lot of no's then. Okay.
Okay, so you got these, and I assume you have gear then also.
Yes.
Avoided magic.
Yeah, the second house I was going to start was the more like magic oriented one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking. I'm planning. I assume the answer is no, but I'm just gonna check. Are you the DM for D&D?
No.
When you play, does the DM have a bunch of like stuff planned out, or is it just like, what do you want to do, and then you say some junk and they're like, all right, here we go, and then it's like a whole scenario that they're just making up? Do you know?
It's a bit of both. I mean, he's kind of been working us through some modules, but we derail it and do other RP things for like many sessions before we even actually get into the modules normally. So
perfect. Okay.
Cool.
Many sessions. Okay. Well. Yes. Okay. That's not good for me, but okay. Cool. I'm trying to not like compare or whatever, but like because I'm gonna, I assume, run my game for all the people who have run the like short little versions who are already like set up, right? For, I mean, 10 weeks max is the goal, I guess.
Okay.
With like a specific story goal already set up and all that junk. So that's, yeah.
Well, you can keep us on task.
Yeah. Sure. I remember when we played, me and all the buoys, and we were not on task ever, I don't think. So
whoever is though in indie or any RP sort of tabletop game.
Yeah, well that's also a problem, because if we're not on task, then we won't hit the goal, and if we don't hit the goal, then we're just gonna tell a completely different story, I guess.
Hey.
Which I guess is cool.
Good story, right?
Yeah, true. Speaking of story, does the Olive Grove, see, nailed it, I was listening, are they like centralized in one place? Do you know where they would be? Are they one city? Do they own a city? All of that stuff?
I was thinking that they would just have different restaurants throughout the world. I don't really know the regions of the world. But,
perfect.
Essentially, they're kind of spread out.
Have you seen the map?
I said, they decide to choose the best performing location to send people from.
Okay. Oh, so it's like an in-house sort of competition, and then you go on to the sigil each year?
Kind of, yep. They also just, like, the people that own it or whatever don't necessarily want to themselves out there for
yeah.
Night.
I've seen this anime.
Oh.
Yeah, what a great thing you've created. Okay, so this might work. Let me look at my notes real quick.
Okay.
Because I had a hilarious idea, but I don't think it'll work. So why would you go? That's the important part, right? It has to make sense. I think it'll be this. Okay, so you've got a bunch of different restaurants. Since you said the best performers go to the sigil, are these champion and steward in one place?
Yes. They
Okay.
both be from the same location.
All right. Let me open the map real quick. We'll pick a spot.
Okay.
The map is terrible, but I've been using it just for like concept.
Okay.
Jeez. How do I share this? So this is the map. Again. Yeah, Congress is on the map now. Gob. Congress is where Ichro is from. Gob is up here in the top. Up here. And then Ichro's hanging out down here. The waste management crew that Fair made works out of the capital, but they spent a lot of time setting up an organization sort of system in the east. No, you left the commune? Dang it. Oh man, I had such good stuff planned for the commune, but oh well. That's fine. So then Olive Grove in cities. I assume you have a capital representative, because anybody who's anybody does, right? You gotta have a business in the capital, but you might also have satellites in all sorts of places. There's like sort of a very dense forest over here in the east. Then we have lighter sort of trees, but not necessarily trees. Then we got the very open plains, which of course all the elves live on and ride their horses and stuff. Brown stuff is mountains. Well, I guess dark brown stuff is mountains. Light brown stuff is sand. The circle thingy is where the sigil occurs, so people who are going there will travel there. Then we also have sort of more plains on this side, but kind of foresty plains on the west side. The center has the capital in it. It's obviously the capital because all of the trade can go in and out pretty easily due to the water. The rest of the junk is water.
Okay. So Pangea.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I do think there must be other continents somewhere, so this can't be like a world spanning continent, I don't think.
Oh.
But I don't know what those continents might be also. But they would be something like oh whoops, oh no, okay, I can't draw on this one. Over there somewhere, or maybe over here. Especially if we use an equator system, it's clear that like this is probably the equator, right? So then there must be another area, maybe, in theory. I don't know. I'm not a doctor or an explorer. But yeah, do you you have like a... I'm not gonna leave that stuff, Gob. Do you have like a setting that they might be in that's just, you know, trees, grass, desert?
I would think maybe along the edges of the meadows and the forest. So you want to have access to good vegetables.
Like the deep, dense forest?
No, like kind of just like
right
at the edge of the more open meadow areas. So like the light forest and the areas.
So probably on the western side over here then?
Sure.
Just west? Okay.
That works.
We'll put so like this place that they're at is probably somewhere over here. Probably somewhere like right here is my guess. And then what would the city be named? It's probably like a culinary sort of place, because you know it's got the best of this house, so why wouldn't it have the best of other houses? Something like the food court of the world. But also it's very like what's the word? Competitive. Yeah, it's very competitive. All right, we'll name it later because I can't think of anything. Cool. So you've got this Olive Grove business. Do you know what the building looks like?
I did not think about what building.
Hey, that's cool. Like. We're gonna give it a second story so that you can have the like more nice, you know, kind of away from prying eyes kind of eating place, and then also, you know, your kitchen downstairs and stuff, just because we can, I guess. So we're gonna put that there. And then again, this city is a treasure trove, a culinary experience. If you're looking for fresh new ideas or the best of the best, this is where you're gonna come. Whatever this city is called, you're gonna come here. I assume then also that your house, the Olive Grove, may have a well-placed Ramseylandia? No. It's got a well-placed, you know, on the street kind of, or in the whole city maybe. Well situated for a bunch of people coming and going. I'm gonna put in a river just because there are no rivers yet, so there'll probably be like a river that comes like this, so you might be able to like overlook the river from the second story, and maybe see the ocean on one of the other views. You know, it's close enough to be able to see that. There's maybe like cool mountains as a view, so maybe people come to hang out there, right? But next door, there has been a building next door for a long time that was very well established. It was a I don't know. It was a pizza place, because, you know, it complemented well with your stuff, unless you make pizza, and then it wasn't a pizza place.
No.
No? All right, cool. Hell's Kitchen, great. Hades Cupboard. Oh my gosh. If we do Hades Cupboard, then Hades has to exist. Earlier, I was like, I wonder if you could see ghosts, and then I was trying to figure out if that implied that there was an afterlife and all sorts of stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, I can't handle this right now. So, actually, I'm gonna leave this river, but I was gonna name this place. I'll go with Hades Cupboard. I think that's funny. So here in Hades Cupboard, the best of the best have gathered, and next door, like I said, long running pizza chain. Well, it's a chain, but also this was just one location. They have closed this location. I don't know they didn't tell. Well, I guess you would have known. You were the neighbor. You met with these people, and basically what they're doing is they're closing down their main location because it's not bringing in enough cash. They're doing like more low cost, lots of transactions kind of things, you know. So they're looking to expand into other areas. So they're closing this location down. They're moving. Anyway, not important.
Okay.
The important part is that someone new has moved in. Okay. Next door. Yeah. So carts have been bringing loads and loads and loads of stuff. Scaffolding has gone up in the building next door. There's a bunch of like hammering all the time. There are not only scaffolding, but like big tarps laid down. The whole building sounds like it's being wrecked. It's what it sounds like, you know, just like constantly from the moment you open your doors to after all the cooks are trying to leave. It's just like nonstop alterations to the building, and you hear a lot of yelling, you know. It'll be like randomly you just hear like just like nonstop, right? And this goes on until you can't handle it anymore, I guess. If you want to go next door, you're welcome to, but it's just like seemingly never ending construction next to you.
Okay. I did have a question real quick, because so with the champion and the steward, are you like playing both of these characters at one time, or are you just selecting one to go, or can they both go, or how does that work?
That's what everyone says. So in my concept of it, the idea was that for what we're doing in the Ashien mystery, which is like a whole story that I have set up, it's a module, if you will. In that instance, I need you to have both people so that you can basically jump in and jump out anytime you want for our story. So if you miss a week, you will come back and you'll be like, oh, I'm playing my champion. Your steward will just fill you in on the stuff that you missed in a way that makes sense, so that you can continue playing. But also, because it has the word mystery in it, I guess, and also it's basically like a gladiatorial fight kind of thing. I also need you to be able to do either role you want, and I think what'll happen is that people will just choose one and play it through the whole time. But in theory, I have the concept that you'll be able to switch maybe once a day, sort of at the like midway point. If you're like, oh man, I need a character who's more willing to explore, or more willing to, or better able to ask questions, stuff like that, that you'd be able to switch. And based on Ichor's two different characters, he specifically would be using that swap back and forth, because one of his characters is basically Folger, and the other one is his like sort of older, very competent kind of character or whatever. So okay. He would probably like swap back and forth, but other people might just play one. So for these like shorter scenarios, we've just been basically playing it like it makes sense. If you think both would be there, then they're both there, but you probably just play one of them, you know. Since you're in this building, you probably have, I don't know, 15 people from your house, right? Because they're all in this place working for you. Not necessarily that they're all in your house. There might be some people from other houses who work for you. Like maybe there's a house of waiters or something like that. I don't know. Dishwasher house.
Okay.
It's like a union for dishwashers. Anyway, so there's probably more people than just the two in your house that you could bring for this scenario. And then, like, for example, Gob, he had like 30, 50 people all available, but he just played whichever one made sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All of that to say, yeah, I don't know. Whatever you want, play whoever you want is basically the answer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think at some point, the kitchen staff is probably just getting really annoyed and hot-tempered, and the hostess will go over and scope things out, knowing that it wouldn't go well if the kitchen staff tried to.
Oh, on behalf of the kitchen staff. Okay, I got you. Wait, I'm gonna stop sharing this.
And plus, she wants to make sure people that are eating there are having a pleasant experience.
It's probably not the most pleasant currently. Yeah. So, she is I don't know who it is. The hostess, you said, goes next door. Yep. Let's see. There's a bunch of scaffolding and tarps and stuff. Do you think they would like just walk in, or you said scope stuff out? Are they gonna try and like see what might be available to see beforehand?
I'm sure she would be looking just to kind of get an idea of exactly what they're doing.
All right,
but
cool.
She would be heading towards the door just to knock pleasantly. She's not gonna like sneak in or barge in or anything like that.
Okay. Well then, as she walks up, she sees, scaffolding, tarps, like I said, a bunch of like wood scraps laying around. Nothing that would tip her off, though, I don't think. It just looks like renovations, right? So, yeah, there's a door that's kind of ajar, I guess, so that anyone who's working can enter and leave. But the scaffolding is blocking most of the view of the building, even from, because it's got a second level, so there's like a tarp, and then as you come up to the door, there's scaffolding sort of above you as well, so you can't like look up. Yeah.
Okay.
And the door is ajar.
All right. She's gonna do one of those things where she's like gonna be knocking as she opens the door.
Yeah, of course.
Hello?
Of course. Okay, let me let's roll this real quick. Oh yeah. So as soon as the knocks push the door far enough open that a body could go through, which one should it be? Yeah, it's got to be this one. As soon as the door is wide enough that your hostess's body could come through, another individual is maybe walking past with, I don't know, armfuls of just like all sorts of cloth, like tablecloths and possibly a rug in there, and then there's all sorts of other stuff, and like yells immediately, like just bring it in. She says like, well, they say just bring it in, put it over there, and like sort of indicates, towards the kitchen area, that something needs to be put over there, and like continues to bustle past.
I'm not actually here to like bring you anything.
They sort of like slow down, I guess, but don't stop, continuing to bustle, and they're like, okay, pick it up, it should be over there, and they like indicate a different room, and they're like, pick it up over there, and it should be all wrapped up and good to go. It continues to bustle with their freaking stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a peek in the room she pointed to where you could retrieve things from.
Okay.
Kind of see what's there.
They head down the hall, sort of next to it, and just to give you an idea, they got a really big head and long black hair. It's not all in braids, but some of it is in braids. All black clothing, like metal studs all over the clothing, big boots, also black, and very thin, pretty pale, and they just continue on, carrying all the stuff or whatever. So the room you go into is stacked with stuff that started to be opened, but there is a table that has a couple of boxes that appear to be, I guess, repacked or packed differently, which may be what they were indicating. It doesn't look like the other stuff that seems to be unpacking and coming into this building.
Okay, what is the stuff that they're unpacking?
The stuff they're unpacking is a bunch of bowls. There's candlesticks, lanterns. It's basically the furnishings for a business much like yours. Mm-hmm. You'll find just, mostly kitchen stuff, but this room has the more like serving side of kitchen stuff. So no knives or anything like that in this room. It's mostly decorations and plates and stuff.
And do I see anybody else around that's not in such a hurry?
For that, you can roll brilliance, I guess.
Okay.
And that's just a D20. Yeah.
A D20. Do I add or subtract the modifier? Or just roll?
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 19, so I'm sorry, which did you say?
Brilliance, really? The first one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. 20.
Cool, so it's a +1. With the 20, I mean, that's really good. Yeah, there's people pretty much everywhere. Most of them look like maybe hired laborers. They got the like work pants and boots and stuff. There's nobody who looks like the person who just continued on down the hall. You can hear someone shouting in another room across the hall. This person is probably the person you hear shouting the most. Like if you stood in your building, you could probably identify this one yelling more than anyone else.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and try to follow that voice and find this yelling person.
All right. You'll go across the hallway. It's sort of a false hallway, I guess. You know how you have the hallway that normally leads to the bathrooms or whatever, and it's it's not all like a full hall, but it's sort of indicated as a hall so that there's a little bit of privacy. So you cross this hallway into a fully open door, and this is definitely the kitchen. There is a person standing in the center yelling at I don't know, 5 people who are just trying to get everything right, and everything seems wrong. This woman is short and kind of large, has a black bowl cut, neck tattoos, and is waving not a ladle, it's like if you like a really big spatula, I guess, but not a spatula. It's I don't know what it's called. But yeah, just waving it and like commanding people, and like the knives are in the wrong place, just like screaming the whole time.
Okay, well, as soon as she pauses for any amount of time for me to speak, I'll just say, it's really hard to find good help, isn't it?
I'll take a presence roll for that for sure.
Okay.
It's not a whisk. It's like a ladle if you flattened it. So like normally spatulas are kind of like angled in a certain way, but this one would be like a flat ladle, but it's got a little bit of a curve. I just don't know what it's called.
Like one of the really long flat spatulas?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
I rolled a 16.
All right. So, because I guess you're a hostess, your long-term dealing with kitchen staff sort of makes you more or easily recognizable to this person, and she agrees, and she's like, sure is. I could scour this city and I wouldn't find quite as many as I need for my or to make what I need, basically. Are you here to help?
I was actually just here to see how things are going. I'm from
terrible
the neighboring building here.
She's just going off. She's like, awful. The knives, honestly, if I weren't holding the knives up against boards, I would think they were bent. Nothing seems to be going right. The opening is taking too long. We haven't installed the second story yet, but I mean, it is getting close, but it's not there yet. We should have been open already. Nothing's going right. This is terrible. I'm glad you're here to help. If you could grab the stuff out of the box on the table and bring it in, we'll put it in the cupboard.
That's not really... You're not paying me. I'm sorry. You'll have to have someone else do that.
I'll have you know the Chippy Wonton Eaters pay fairly to all people under their employ, and you should be happy with the wages that you're earning.
Well, that's the thing, though. I'm not under your employ. As I just said, I'm from the neighboring restaurant, Olive Grove.
All yours, Sonny! Sonny, get in here! And she's yelling, down the hallway. The other person arrives back in the black clothing, not yelling, but responding, I guess, in a forceful manner that to anyone else it would be yelling, but this person, I guess, doesn't or can't. And this person comes back and is like, yes, I'm here. What do you need? And the other person, the shorter woman that you were speaking to, says, this lady's in here. She says she doesn't work for us. She's the neighbor or something like that. And, waving this, whatever it is, flat ladle at you. Sort of in, that like condescending wave or whatever. And Sonny like looks over at you real slow and is like, can I help you?
I'm just curious about how things are going here and when you think all the noise might end.
The noise? It's nothing compared to the eternal screams of the environment, but soon, I hope, it will be done.
Soon is not soon enough, it seems.
True. Too true.
I'm not really speaking metaphorically, but I feel like you think I am.
The schedule has us wrapping up by the end of the week, but who's to say we could all die before then?
Wouldn't be soon enough. Anyway, is there any way that you guys can maybe lower down the sound?
The sound? I'll have you know, we will run the finest restaurant this side of Hades Cupboard. I couldn't remember what it was called. I had to look back. The finest restaurant this side of Hades Cupboard, and soon it won't matter. Our noise and our business will be the only one people care about.
Not if we have anything to say about it, but...
And who do you think you are to challenge us?
Well, I'm Minna. I'm the hostess over at the Olive Grove.
I see. I am Sunny.
Has already established a very good repertoire here.
Perfect. You must have heard about the chibi wonton eaters.
Can't say that I have, no.
Do you think you do research on like other restaurants and stuff like that?
Probably, especially if they're in the general area.
Yeah. Well, these people probably have not expanded here yet, so I guess let's roll to see if you would have heard rumors about this. I guess I'll take brilliance for that one too.
Okay.
And oh, it's gone.
Terrible roll. 3?
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like you've heard of these people. You have heard of knockoffs. There have been several other businesses that kind of sound similar. That would be like I don't know, wonton enthusiasts and experimental wonton and like businesses like that that have just been sort of like doing the thing where they pop up and then they're gone pretty much immediately. You know, they're only there for a couple of months maybe, and then they're gone. So you've probably heard of businesses like this, but not, it seems like, these people. So yeah. So I think you said no or something like that. My bad. I should have thought about what you said better. Anyway, so Sunny says, Elroy and I will be taking over this entire street. We'll need more we'll need more buildings for our wonton empire once it is fully up and running in this city.
Oh, an entire wonton empire. Well, if you need any help with the best locations to procure vegetables or fish, let me know.
Actually, would you sell us your building now that you're offering help?
No. I said nothing about buildings. Good try, though.
Unfortunate. Sunny says to Elroy, the other person, Elroy, I think we're going to have a bit of what was that happened in the Coggers town? That scuffle that occurred, and Elroy's like, I remember. Yeah, it was a good one. Elroy turns to you, puts down the big ladle thing, whatever it is, says, like, rolls up, or I guess they're already rolled up, but rolls up her sleeves again, and she says, I'm ready for it, and like sort of like motioning at you like she's gonna fight.
Right. I'm going to look down, because you said she was short, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of look down at her and use an ability, maybe?
Already? Oh my gosh. Poor Elroy. Okay. What do you want to use?
I'm just gonna. I have an ability that I call redirect, and it's just to redirect someone's focus from their anger, essentially.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Look, I think you've misunderstood why I'm here, and I wish you guys well, but I think you have a lot of work to do over there. I'm gonna point over to the kitchen, the area where the workers are, and just say, I think they just like dropped your knives.
So this would probably be presence, I guess, as a role, and then modified whatever the whichever ability it is. I don't know, because I can't see the sheet.
Okay, it's my +3.
Oh, cool.
Oh my god.
Oh, you know what? Let me open something real quick.
Okay.
While you do this. Get my Google Docs open. Oh god. I'm not in the right account. What was it after modification?
11.
How do I... I'm logging into Google real quick.
Okay.
I wrote down exactly the way I think that... I mean, it's not a sneak attack, but obviously they're also not expecting this, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it is an ability. Open Google Photos. Okay, sure. Scroll down. I've never opened it on my phone before. Damage, priority? Nope. Ranged attacks. Oh, shoot. I swore I wrote it down. Alright, something else for me to make sure is included.
Okay.
But I think in this case, it makes sense that it would occur. Especially with what I rolled. Plus the 11, like, if... Yeah, I think so. Not sneak. Well, I guess it would be a sneak attack. No matches. All right, it's not in there. I wrote it down, but I don't know where it is.
Okay.
So I do think that it would connect. So Elroy being upset easily shifted into, hey, your workers aren't doing whatever, right? So like just picks back up the ladle thing, walks over to the counter with the people, and they're like, this is not the organization system we discussed earlier. The sauces need to be easily reachable. The seasonings need to be easily reachable. The utensils need to be easily reachable. And here I have a bunch of stuff stacked on top of each other. It's not going to work out. It doesn't make any sense the way you've done it. And just starts like rearranging all this junk, right? And And Sunny turns back to you, reappraises you because, of course, you just sort of like shifted this person's focus pretty easily, it seems like. And as the assistant to this house, I wouldn't say, I don't think they, Elroy probably cooks, but Sunny is definitely not the person you want working the door. Sunny reassesses you and is like, interesting. Would you be interested in a wager?
What sort of wager?
If we can outcook you in a cooking competition, we reserve the right to make as much noise as we want. Not only building, but also entertaining our guests. And if you win, we will agree to, I guess, limited noise to whatever your limitations may be. Of course, you cannot limit the soul or its screaming, but the restaurant itself, we could probably manage.
I mean, I'd have to double check with my chef, but I feel like that's a fair wager.
Interesting.
And also, I would never interfere with your scream or soul screaming, so.
It is eternal. Fine. Your place or ours?
I mean, yours isn't really put together yet, so let's.
We could have
ours.
this place ready by the time you come back.
Isn't that what you've been? Never mind. Ours, I think.
Fabulous. We'll be there. Let's see. We'll be there in an hour. We'll bring our finest game or whatever.
All right. I'll go tell Aaron.
The screaming triples as you're walking out or wherever you're going. Elroy just like bustling, screaming. All these people are piling into the kitchen, and you hear like very, very low underneath Sunny saying some very melancholy junk about performance, and so you can only catch a couple words, but it's like endless decay and like random stuff like that you can hear occasionally, but mostly it's Elroy screaming. You basically, at least for now, made the problem worse, it seems like. And then in roughly an hour, are the doors always open, or do you have like a couple doors? How's your front look?
I don't think the doors would like stay open, but they wouldn't be locked, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, you're in the classic Olive Grove style. You've got the double doors and then another set of double doors.
Yes.
And
Yep.
Yeah, they're easy to push.
There's kind
but
of a waiting area with bars. Yep.
These suckers burst open, and Elroy strides in, and just to make sure you caught it, these are chibi wonton eaters. So basically everybody who works in this house and is related is chibi, so they have very large heads, they're shorter, big eyes, but it's not like super far away from human, right?
Okay.
So
this is an actual race, not just a drawing style.
Yup, exactly. They're an actual race of chibi people. The way it works, well, I don't know if you would know how chibi would work. It has rules, basically, genetics.
Okay.
I
guess I should have
genes
asked
and
about
stuff.
what races you have in this world.
Yeah. So there's everything that you could think of, but The ones that I made are pretty basic: elves, goblins, chibi people. The one that Ichro made that looks human, or not made, encountered that looks human. Let's see, what else? Oh, dwarves. We hit some dwarves earlier, so those are classic. But I mean, like, there's also the camel minotaurs from House Camelos and stuff like that. So if you could think of it, you could probably do it, and as long as it makes sense, you know, like
okay.
Yeah.
Like camel minotaurs. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because someone else already made that, right? So it must work. So okay. Yeah, anyway, these are some chibi folk, and so these chibi folk start pouring into your business. There's at least 15 of them. They're all carrying like crazy amounts of spices and oils. There's a gigantic wok being carried by one of them that's so big that that's all they can carry, right? It's just a huge wok. Someone's got a bunch of utensils, ladles. The utensil that I'm describing that I can't think of the name of, but it's kind of like a spatula. But anyway, it's used on woks. Just an enormous cacophony bursts through the doors, ready to do kitchen battle. And Elroy, you know, striding up at the front, it says, you know, we're here, we're ready to eat, mostly.
Okay, I'll lead them to the kitchen, which I would have pre-warned people and like separated the space out for them.
Oh geez, they're tumbling down the aisle, not tumbling, but you know, bustling, and so much noise is occurring. Your guests are probably questioning their choices.
I probably would have, to be fair, I probably would have like tried to clear the place out, not like set more people.
Yeah, okay. So there's probably only a couple of guests who now recognize why the restaurant is so empty at this time of day, because it seems like you have a pretty good setup, and you know, there's people coming and going. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to the Olive Grove? So they bustle in, start putting stuff down. I'll take a presence roll. Yeah.
For the hostess?
Yeah. Who yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
7.
Unfortunate. Elroy is scanning, you know, the preparation and stuff, and is shaking her head. Some of the stuff she has to sort of, you know, push herself up to look at, but most of the stuff she could see pretty easily. She snaps and brings one of the people forward who keeps her stools. They lay down a couple stools in front of, you know, the different stations and areas and stuff, and she's like, no stools, huh? This is ableist. Not racist, but like not considerate of her statute. Yeah, either. She's just like frowning and stuff, but doesn't necessarily say anything. Just, you know, brings in the stools and stuff. And Sunny steps forward and says, as you know, the classic rules of cooking engagement should be followed. You're familiar, I'm sure.
Yes, of course.
Roll brilliance.
Sorry, my cat's like...
No, you're good.
Okay. 18.
18? She's lying, for sure. This is something she's made up. There are no like cooking engagement rules or any of that junk. These people are like trying to control the situation, but basically she just started talking and made some junk up. She's like, we'll get started as well. What will you be serving us?
Aaron? And I will call over my champion.
All right, perfect. Chef
Aaron. Yeah, so we're gonna have like a nice red pepper sauced penne along with a coated and baked chicken.
That's it?
I mean, that's plenty for a meal, isn't it?
I suppose. We'll be serving wonton soup. Of course. It's our finest dish. I'm sure you'll be momentarily moved away from the sadness that grips us all through this meaningless existence. And Sunny sort of moves off into like a soliloquy about how food is the only thing that can pull you away from the darkness of life and junk. But anyway, Elroy's definitely going to step in on that. It's like, no wontons? What? Yeah. How can you serve a meal without wontons?
I mean, we do it every day, like all day, so I think we'll be fine.
Elroy is flabbergasted. Okay. I'll make sure that I make enough wontons for us as well. Then, fabulous. Standard time limit, I assume. An hour, say.
Yeah, I can make that work.
Yes, fabulous. Let's get to work. And then Elroy is using like all the people who came with her are basically like sous chefs and stuff. So they're going to start like piling into the creation of basically wonton soup in like huge amounts. So it's gonna take an hour. Let's do like 3 rolls for prep, cooking, and I don't know, like plating or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm having to make a cooking competition. Let's see here. Prep, cooking, plating. The first one should probably be combat, and you can use like abilities on it and stuff, and gear. And then the second one should be cooking. I guess either combat or brilliance, depends on how your character's set up, because they might be able to cook with magic. And then plating would be probably presence, right? That makes sense.
Sure.
And then you could use any abilities you want. After my discussion with Fair, I think the way that it works is you can use an ability to increase your performance roll, which is the D20, or in some circumstances you could choose to use your gear to modify that roll instead, but most probably no one would do that, but you could. And then if you didn't modify with gear, when you did damage you could modify that with gear, but that doesn't really apply to this unless you're like killing something, I guess, for your penne.
No, I don't think there would be time for butchering and cooking.
All right, these skills I have are already set up. This one doesn't make sense. So for prep, we'll do this one. Oh, bro. Cooking. Oh, that wasn't a roll. Should have kept the non-roll. Presence. Oh, why am I using Elroy? Dang it.
Oh, am I rolling right now then?
If you want to.
Okay.
Dang it. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's whatever.
And you said combat for the prep, combat or brilliance for whatever the second one was, cooking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then presence for plating, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Unfortunate series of events.
We'll see.
Okay, so in the prep stage, Elroy's using a bunch of other people, but this isn't her kitchen, right? So she's constantly like stepping up on stools to see what's happening and all of that stuff. So it kind of gets in the way. So it takes longer than it should, definitely, and it's not. Everything is eventually prepped, but it's not the way she would prefer it, and it's like clear in her face that she's getting frustrated with the whole circumstances.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she did use an ability, which in retrospect I shouldn't have used, but she has a basic like chopping ability. So at one point, someone prepping the vegetables that are going to go into the wontons was going too slow, and you see like just the finest chopping skills you've ever seen, you know, very safe on the fingers and stuff, but honestly you don't think she could possibly cut her fingers if she wanted to with her how skilled she is. She spends a lot of time with knives cutting stuff. I guess we'll go back and forth on each of these things because it's like a cooking competition, right?
Sure. And as far as like abilities go, would it be one ability for all three of these things? Or
no, I think if it makes sense for your ability and you had enough charges or whatever, then you could use it multiple times, or you could even use gear if you wanted to, but for like each one, just choose the ability or the gear or whatever in order to perform it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the prep phase goes super great for Erin and her crew.
Dang.
She like debones that chicken thigh and does all the fancy like smashing and rolling and I don't know, whatever they do to make chicken. And that was using an ability of cleave.
Of course.
So do you want me to give you the roll? I don't know.
No, I think just describing it is good enough. I mean, you could tell me what the roll is, but I think I lost this roll with an 8.
Okay, yeah, I went with a 23 on the first roll.
Oh my gosh!
That was with the +4 for the cleave ability. And
it's masterful.
But it goes downhill after that, so.
Honestly, maybe that's why Elroy's doing so bad. Clearly, your prep stage went so well. She's just like, incredible, like, wow, amazed and stuff. Spends time watching you, maybe learns a thing or two, but secretly, you know, like,
home kitchen advantage also.
True. Yeah. That is definitely true. the way I think the game will work is that we'll be on Roll20, or we'll be in Tailspire, because I've been making the map, because it's easy. I only have to make one map, so I've been making the map in Tailspire, and the idea is that all of the rolls will be visible all the time, but currently you can't see them. I'm just using this gigantic, I bought a big D20 because I was like, oh, I want to roll in a way that people could see. So but yeah, in the future, when things are rolled against each other, it'll just be like, you'll be able to see them all. So if you're fighting a troll, you know whatever the roll is against you, instead of, oh, I don't know what this troll's AC is, or whatever. You won't know their health, but you'll know how they're performing, because they're performing against you, back and forth. Right. Yeah. Okay. You just can't see my rolls currently, so I wrote them down.
You can't see mine either.
Yeah, true. As Elroy moves into the cooking stage, having maybe learned something, or at least learned a little bit of the kitchen area from you, and also having all the items available, they craft a bunch of wontons, get the stock all ready and the broth set up and stuff, and begin to cook some. I mean, it's basic wonton soup. It's not impressing you probably, but it does clearly look hearty, and it looks like wonton soup and appears to be delicious, maybe, hopefully. But I think we lost this one too.
We'll see.
Okay.
So for some reason, someone turned off the burner with the pasta in it a little bit too early, so it's a little bit chewy.
Oh no.
And the chicken's cooked a little darker than it probably should be.
Okay.
I only have a total of 7 for this one.
Oh, snap. All right. Well, 12 over here. I wasn't expecting to win one. Nice.
The last one also should be yours.
So all of this wonton soup is created here in your kitchen. Lots of your burners are used. One of their pots is so big that they have to use multiple burners, or however, the kitchen is set up. We'll assume that, it's sort of more traditional. So there's a couple flames that they can use. But yeah, they make tons and tons and tons of soup. And the other chibi folk that have come along are very excited. They all have their own bowls prepped and ready to go. And so the soup just starts getting ladled out into all these bowls. They're mega excited. Most of them actually leave with their bowls. And there's no one to help because they all leave to go eat because they're very excited, right? And so Elroy basically finishes up alone. The pots are too tall, the stools aren't tall enough, the cabinets don't work out. She's trying to get just a basic bowl of soup prepped, but the wontons are breaking open in the broth. It's awful. So what you wind up with is several bowls of soup that are very cloudy, murky. You can't see the wontons in them. You could just assume that they're in there based on the smell, but and they of course didn't want to bring their own stuff to be broken or whatever, or the nice stuff, so that they brought some basic wooden bowls, the classic ones you would see in anime or in an Asian restaurant, just very basic wooden bowls. there aren't even enough utensils that you would use to go around, and so you just got these murky bowls sitting on your countertop, and Elroy looks defeated already, like just like that frustration where you're not gonna cry, but you're like really red and you're holding it in, so you're just trying to be mad instead of sad, you know. It's like Sunny seems normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so time got away from Erin and her crew a little bit, and so like it's getting down to just the last minute, and they need to start plating stuff, and so they kind of just slop it on. I don't know if you've seen like Chopped or anything like that, where people are just bad at their time management and stuff just gets splashed all over the plates. So it's not looking super great. Like I said, the chicken was a little too brown, and Erin also looks a bit defeated at this plate. I again rolled a 7.
I rolled a 1. Well, no, I rolled I rolled a 1, which I used Elroy used this cleaver that it feels magical when the cleaver like it's uncased. It like comes in this box. One of the people brought it in, and so Elroy takes it out to use it to cut the noodles or whatever, the like case for the wonton or whatever, and it seems magical, and like everybody's sort of in, or at least the chibi folk are sort of in awe of it. It doesn't help because I didn't really plan this through, so Elroy doesn't have a lot of presence. It's a mixture of the tattoos and the shortness and the anger. So the -2 modifier there, canceling out the cleaver, makes a pure 1. So we definitely lose on presence as well. It's very unfortunate. So yeah, I guess several of the people I've brought, I assume you have people too. Whoever it is, you know, plates up the table. This murky bowl of soup next to your slightly burnt penne, or whatever the full dish is called. Not the best showing from either side, but still the competition must go on. So let's see, it would be let's roll. What should it be? How would we do this? Let's roll presence against the other person's roll. So the ones that already exist for plating, which mine is a 1, so you're probably gonna win, but maybe there's a tie.
I have a -4 to presence for Erin, so I rolled okay on the last one and got down to a 7, so nope.
Nope. What does that mean?
I rolled a 5, so that would make it a 1.
Amazing. I rolled 11 -2 is 9. So yeah, the chefs obviously trade and taste each other. This is food. Let me get those extra words in there real quick. Taste each other's food. And then anyone else who's interested is welcome to try the food as well. The taste of the wonton soup shines through, even though the wontons are broken open and all of that stuff. You know, if you take it collectively and maybe close your eyes, it is good food, and it's serving a lot of people right now. And then the dish you have provided is also a, I guess, nicely palatable version of your food, but although it's presented a little better, you know, it's not what these people would prefer to eat, so they are, I guess, disappointed a little bit. And you could see that on Elro's face. You know, it's not. She's losing her pure anger and rage and stuff. But I do think that they lost technically, even though you don't necessarily like the soup or whatever. Or yeah, you like the soup more than they like your food. It's not because their food's better, it's just they don't want to eat your food.
All right.
So after everybody sort of has a taste or whatever, Sunny's contemplating her existence or their existence. Says, you know, oh, this, of course we would lose. It's close, but of course. And Elroy goes off in this tirade about, like, you know, the stools and the height, and then starts blaming things on people. But eventually the tirade ends with, yeah, we lost and we recognize it this time.
Well, we'll see in the future how things turn out for you guys. And, like, to be fair, the soup was pretty good. I don't think I've had wonton soup like that before.
Of course, you've never had wonton soup like this. There are many pretenders, imitators, but nobody makes wonton soup like I do. This is our mission. It's our goal. It's how we help our people, and that really shows through in our food. And I think you'll agree.
Yep.
So, what are your terms? What are you thinking? What are we agreeing to here?
I think we're agreeing that you're going to keep the noise down a little bit, so like we don't hear it all day and night.
Day and night, so one or the other.
Preferably neither.
You drive a hard bargain, chef. A hard bargain.
That was the terms of the.
It was
the wager, wasn't it?
It was. Sunny says, yes. Let me check. Let me check the rule books and manifesto and everything. And produces some weird scroll, opens it, looks it over. Rolls it back down. Roll let's see. Roll brilliance on that. Oh, dang it.
Okay. And I guess I was just talking as Minna, but I don't know how that works because you said like once a day you could switch between characters.
Well, yeah, in these circumstances, like, just choose whoever you want to be and speak. Ichor had a full conversation with himself, so perfect. That's fine. There will be better defined rules for that future game that doesn't exist yet. Yeah.
My dice all hate me, and I rolled a 3.
Perfect. Yeah, you see Sunny looking over the rules. The rule book or whatever rule scroll for cooking competitions. You might not have ever heard of it, but apparently these people engage in cooking competitions a lot, so they have rules and stuff prepped. Rolls it back, puts it into her it's like a handmade leather pouch that probably some indie craftsperson created, and so slides the scroll back in there, and she's like, you win. Okay. We'll keep the noise down. It will, of course, slow our progress, but at least eventually our food will grace your street, and soon we will have total dominance over Hades covered.
I mean, as I think we've proven today that like people have different tastes, so maybe we could just both have dominance in Hades covered. And
are you suggesting an alliance to take over Hades covered together?
Sure.
Interesting. Yes. I will drop the paperwork immediately. Are you thinking 50-50 split, or would you like to move? You know what? I was thinking we could create an artificial river that goes through town. Would you like one side of the river?
I'm not really into like changing the landscape of the city. Just the food palette.
Food palette. I see. Do you have any dishes that may go well with wontons?
I think Aaron might be able to come up with something.
Excellent.
Probably not, but
I see. Everyone,
do you guys have something that goes well with pasta?
Of course. May I present to you our wonton soup? We also have, and Elroy pops up, and she's been behind the counter or something. I don't know. Maybe just eating soup. Pops up on a stool. She says, actually, I've been creating this new dish that I think is really going to be amazing. I have classic fried wonton, but I've been using a different pasta shell for the wonton that I think is really going to revolutionize the wonton industry, specifically the spicy wonton industry, because as you know, it's kind of lacking. And so Elroy just goes off on this design plan for a new form of wonton, fried wonton that they've been crafting, and that lasts for several minutes, and Sunny is just motioning to people during the tirade, like having things cleared away and stuff. Obviously it's your kitchen, so they're not probably going to clean a ton of stuff, but all the stuff that they brought, they're going to start taking back out. They're taking their big vats of soup that they've created. Someone's literally trying to ladle soup out while it's being carried, so that they can have seconds or thirds or whatever bowl they're on. Let me just actually roll for that real quick. Ooh, they're spilling. It's unfortunate. Some of it is being spilled, but there's okay, hold on. Let me roll for this too. Ooh, yeah, it's just being spilled. Yeah.
Clarence, can you clean this up?
Perfect. You have someone. Everything's carried out. It's just Sunny and Elroy left. Sunny says, We'll craft up these or write up these plans for future Hades covered domination. We'll of course keep the noise down as much as we can. I might be able to make hammers quieter. I'm not sure. Starts to muse on it real quick, and Sunny says, quiet hammers, or Elroy says that. Quiet hammers, we're not doing any of that stuff. Come on, let's get out of here. And like starts pulling on Sunny while Sunny starts writing. The quiet hammers has become a poem that Sunny is writing down in a little black notebook that she also pulled out of that leather pouch. She's like,
well, at least maybe just keep the hammering in the morning, early hours. Thanks.
Early hours. Perfect. Early hours of the soul, my quiet hammer and I. And, continues to write, musing out loud as she leaves. And then, yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing, running like short stories like that, just to test things out. And I'll just give you sort of like a wrap up, I guess.
Okay.
These, because you're neighbors, obviously you're gonna get to know them. The chibi wonton eaters are a halfway house, and the way it works is any chibi person of any stature or class or whatever is welcome. If they can't, if there's something that they need or is limiting or whatever, they can come to the chibi wonton eaters as sort of the halfway house, boarding house, whatever, and find work, learn skills, learn to function in taller society, and so they provide all sorts of things. But the way they do that is they run wonton businesses in lots of big cities, and the active, sort of skills that they learn over time are applied in those restaurants. So you also find like what's it called, like experimental recipes and stuff. So Sunny's gonna come over a lot in the future and like be like, let's try this with your pastas or your sauces or whatever, and it's just gonna like bring over dishes from time to time that are wonton based but aren't, nobody's ever seen or heard of. And this branch of the chibi wonton eaters, because it's in Hades' cupboard, is going to be the most experimental, the most unique, and they have a lot of people at their disposal, which they have used in the past to take over large portions of cities. Over time, maybe one or two of the restaurants around you will be bought out by other chibi individuals who will start their own restaurants, whether it be wonton or something else. And so your neighborhood, I guess, will be changing. But you do have this agreement that's set up with the chibi individuals, and they're not going to mooch in on your, I guess, commercial enterprise or whatever. So they would probably also help you because you're good neighbors. If you wanted to expand or whatever, they have contacts all over the empire, so they could get you in pretty much anywhere you want.
Okay. Yeah, I think the people at this Olive Grove would definitely be helpful to their endeavors and offer what they could to assist their adventures.
Nice.
And also take them up on some of their tips about locations and places to expand into.
Oh yeah, definitely. These are good people to know, especially for the story and what's coming. Everybody's sort of tied to different houses at this point. They have like agreements and alliances and stuff like that. So I do think that if Olive Grove goes to the Sigil, which, I mean, they should, but if you take them there, they would definitely be allied with the chibi wonton eaters, who are going to be, well, I guess you'll see what they're going to be doing, but it's going to involve wontons for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And each sort of like story and playthrough ties the different players' houses to other houses, so that everybody's sort of like anchored to something in the world, and it's not just like I show up.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool. Yeah, not a lot of like combat or anything in a cooking battle, but I didn't also know how to do that, so it is a good practice sort of test.
Okay.
It did play out like a show, so that's cool.
That's true. And I guess I wasn't totally sure what I was doing.
That's
either.
Cool.
And I'm not very good at combat, so there you go.
Perfect. I don't want things to be solved just by combat, and fair and Itro both seem to be like people who are like, oh, well, I don't really want to fight. So both of their stories didn't involve much fighting either, which is cool.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah, dope. That's all I got, I guess. Well, I mean, I didn't actually have any of that until we made it up together, but...
Yay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Any notes or like thoughts or whatever?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Because you're playing D&D, do you care about leveling up?
Me? No.
Okay.
Okay. The D&D game I'm in, we're geared a lot towards RP more than combat. There's a couple of people that are maybe more into the leveling than I am, but like I like the story. That's what I'm mostly there for. So
cool. This system that I have doesn't have leveling, but I do think there are ways to improve or whatever that we're not going to do a ton of in the game, but over time, the way I have it set up is I'm trying to think if that's in the stuff that I gave you access to. Let's see. Combat mechanics, house of character. Nope. Because I didn't want to be like, here's literally everything you can do. I wanted it to be more like, here's what we're going to do for my story. So in the actual system, you've got like statuses, I guess, of person. So you got commoner, which is just like, oh yeah, I'm a farmer, I'm a worker, I'm whatever, and they have base stats of 10, and then you have the elite status, which would be a base stat of 15, and then hero status or classification, which would be 20. And the reason we're just going with these 20 stats is because everybody you send is going to be the best of the best, but in the like full system, you would in theory start off as a commoner if you so chose, and then if you decided, oh, I'm gonna fight this hero, like you're so under prepared and under geared that you're at a huge disadvantage, and that's what Gob did, and I wasn't expecting it, so I had to like make all that junk up.
That's good.
But yeah,
actually thinking about that now does ask me a question about like hit points or whatever.
Yeah.
For actual combat, like how does that work?
So that's just your grit is translated into your hit points. So not only how much you can resist from being prepared to resist things, but also how alive you are would be your grit. It would just be your hit points. It's not like your grit would go down. It's just not on this sheet either, because I was like, oh, well, grit is the stat. It's easy. But I do think the sheet needs like a little section that says like, oh, current hit points or something. And you would start off with 20 or whatever your grit was and go down from there. And because... in theory, the max damage you could do is in theory 10, but probably more like 6 is the max damage you could do. If your grit's 20, you know, that's at least 4 hits that actually connect at max damage, but more likely it's going to be, you know, you take 3, you take 5, you take 1.
Okay. So for damage, like I guess is that just a D6 roll then?
Oh yeah. So you'll roll always opposed against someone else with whatever stat makes sense. So if you swing a sword, that's probably combat ability, and they are going to attempt to block or dodge or whatever. If they're a character that probably is, you know, blocking or something like that, it's most likely going to be grit, and that's probably pretty much everyone. Grit being your defensive ability, but I could see how it would make sense, brilliance or combat ability for the opposed role, but it depends on the character. So like, let's say
just making an earth wall, that might be brilliance over grit.
Yeah, exactly, because it was magic. Yeah. Exactly. Or if you just wanted them to be a good mage, right? Like they would throw up magic shields and stuff like that, that weren't necessarily abilities, but they could be abilities too, just to modify. So the way it actually works is I'm going to attack you with a sword, and I have an ability called Hurricane Slash. So I say I'm going to use my Hurricane Slash against you, and I declare that I'm going to use the ability, right? So I roll. I got a 19. Let's say it's my +4. So I'm laying down a 23 roll, right? You defending. You're like, oh, I'm a mage, I'm defending with my magic or whatever. You roll, and it's a 9. So even your abilities wouldn't help you. Oh, wait, hold on. So you have to declare abilities ahead of time, but you've already seen the 23, so your abilities probably won't work anyway. But you roll, and you got a 9, so it's not going to work. But you can use gear to mitigate the damage that comes in. So after we know that it's going to hit, the sword will hit. Damage is rolled. I got a 4, but let's say you have like an arcane focus necklace, right, that allows you to buff up your magic, and it's +2 brilliance. You can mitigate 2 of the damage with your gear the same way that the person attacking can modify using gear as well. So in theory, if they had a sword that was +1, that would improve their roll to 5. It's a results roll is what I'm calling it. And then you could modify it with your gear down to 3 then, and you would take 3 damage. Or if you mitigated more, that would be great. If you tie, it's half damage. But that's the way it works. It's a performance roll, an opposed performance roll, a results roll for damage, and then the ability to modify that results roll.
Okay.
I also think it makes sense because basically I'm like, okay, I got a troll and a knight. They fight, and I just do that, and I'm like, okay, here's what happens. But since I'm the only tester so far, I can only come up with so much stuff. And I still think there's a way to break it. I just can't find what it is, but there must be a way to break it. And I think
the ranged character.
So yeah, like bows and stuff are super strong, and if you shoot someone, like what are they gonna do? Nothing. So that's why I had to change the way combat movement works. At first it was just you can move or you can attack, which is fine, but why wouldn't you just get shot in that instance and you couldn't do anything about it? So I had to change that. Or like, I just cast fireball at you and you can't do anything except move. Haha, you know, like I'm far away, get wrecked. So I had to change that. But I think the way to break it is gear on one stat, probably grit. And if you +4 that stat, assuming that you'll always get hit, and you modify the damage rolls, the results roll every time, in theory, you would mitigate so much damage that you would just survive. But that also makes sense. You brought the strongest armor you possibly could. You don't have any weapons. You could fight with a weapon, but you're not gonna do extra damage or anything, right? So I do think that's the way to break it. I just don't know if it breaks it enough to make it matter.
Okay. I have a question now about if you have like several people in a fight.
Yep.
How does that work, like round?
So the way I wrote it is, again, the way that makes sense is the way it should be done. But in the system itself, the game master, DM, whatever you're calling it, decides at the beginning of the game what system you're going to use. So sure, you can roll d20s for initiative, but in my opinion, that doesn't make sense for sneak attacks and stuff like that, because you're still rolling like against an AC and D&D or whatever. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I think, like, if you had stabbed Elroy in the face in her own kitchen, she wouldn't have expected that. And it should have happened. Like, it should have just gone through with no way to stop it because you attacked someone that wasn't expecting it. And in this system, because you're rolling back and forth, it doesn't play out that way. So I think if you're standing in the kitchen, what was it, Lana and Aaron? Minna and Aaron. Shoot, I got the A. So let's say they're both in the kitchen. Elroy's in the kitchen. Sunny's in the kitchen. And you try to chop Sunny's hand off. Minna does, right? In theory, you would be able to just swing and probably connect. So you would be the person who goes first. And then, in theory, Elroy would react. You just tried to chop off the hand. If it worked or not, I don't know. But that person would go next. And then, in my opinion, you could either roll for the next two or whoever's closer or whatever. But the system I think I'll be using is like that. Like, I declare to do something. Okay, you're first. You chose. And then everyone else falls into place beyond that. So I think it should be rolled beyond that unless the action is against someone else, and then that person's second. And that way, like, you decided to act, so you sort of set up the encounter and the combat and stuff just by choosing. And then if there's 4 people, Sunny would roll maybe a d20, and Aaron would have a d20 roll, and then they would decide who goes third and fourth.
Okay. And as far as, like, I guess, using your gear to mitigate damage, would you be able to do that with each attacker, or would that just be a one-time during that round thing?
Yeah, it would be every attacker against you.
Okay.
I do think there should be a way for you to give up your turn to save someone else. I haven't really thought about it yet, though. But, like, let's say Aaron, or let's say Sunny knows some, like, protection magic or something, and wants to save Elroy on. It wouldn't work for the first attack because that doesn't make sense. They wouldn't know it's coming. Like, that one should just happen. But on the next one, let's say you're still attacking Elroy, I think Sunny should be able to give up their turn in order to mitigate or modify the rolls, like basically the help action, right?
Okay.
But but when would you be able to declare that? And would it break if 3 people decided to help one person? Like, would that break the game? I don't think so, because you just gave up 3 rounds. Like, that's crazy. But also, you saved someone's life, so dope.
Right.
So I do need to think about that. That's a good point. But yeah, like if someone's attacking you, you can mitigate the damage, and then if another person attacks you, you still have all the same gear. You can still mitigate that damage as well. Okay. Over and over and over. Yeah. But I mean, really, when are there like 19 Ifrits all fighting you at the same time? Probably never, right? I mean, it's probably not gonna happen.
Oh my.
Gotta change the word Ifrit to something else in my story. All right. And again, that's just because it makes sense that way. Like, your gear didn't go anywhere, so you should definitely be able to use it for everyone.
Okay. What about like abilities? You're only using them on your action, right?
You can also use them in self-preservation.
Okay.
So anytime you roll.
Okay, so you could use multiple abilities in one round, but you only have so many uses a day, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So like in the instance of just a sword fight or whatever, if one person uses the ability of like let's call it like a sword flurry, that like really fast whole bunch of slices or whatever, they could definitely use that to attack. And then if they are being pressed with like, I don't know, like a fencing saber or something, they could in theory use that ability to block as well, because they chose to use it. But like, depending on how many uses they have, is it worth it to try and block early? Probably not. You know, right. You might want to try and press damage, but then late you're like, oh snap, I might die. I need to use my abilities now to defend myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I also think it makes sense because 5, 10, there's 14 uses. So if you are using them, your fight's gonna look really cool. Like, and you know Magic, right? Like the Gathering?
A little bit.
All right, sure. A little bit's enough. Have you heard of oh no, I just blanked on the name. Oh dang, there's another one.
I probably wouldn't know
all right.
card names or anything, so.
Shoot. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's new, and basically the way it works is sort of the way this system is set up, where instead of like Magic, where you're like, oh, I declare 15 attackers, and then all of my Panthers get in there, and I got the trample from the elephant and stuff. Instead of that, it's like 2 people having a sword fight, and the stuff you pull out is like abilities, and you chain them together in a like really fast martial arts style fight. But it sort of works the same way as Magic does. It's just way faster and way more intense. And that's what I was sort of the vibe I was trying to get, right? Like if you're fighting, everybody's throwing abilities around, and if you tell the story like, oh, I did this and then this happened and then this and this, it's going to happen really fast, and you're always opposed and you're always engaged in rolling, and it's going to seem like a really cool martial arts kind of thing. That's the goal anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Could see that.
Yeah. Doesn't super apply to cooking battles, but at least the system still works for cooking battles.
Yep. It does.
Yep. I'll have to write in like alive vegetables that you can fight.
Mandrakes.
Yep, mandrakes have been pulled and screamed for so long. It should be like pumpkins that want to consume you, and vampire carrots, and apples with legs, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Gosh, I gotta do so much stuff.
Make an entire array of vegetable characters.
Actually, I know where to put them. Good call.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other questions that I might not have thought of?
I don't think so for now.
Okay, cool.
I didn't think I had any questions before either, and then we started talking, and
that's the way it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Hopefully, when I run the actual game, there will be like 6-ish people. Hey, how many players are in your game?
Well, there's 6 players currently.
Cool.
So it's been between 5 and 6.
There's so many people I want to invite. So I'm like, is 8 too many? I don't know.
I mean, it seems like a lot.
It seems like a lot, either. Right?
I can't DM. There's no way I'd be able to do that. So I don't know how easy it would be to like. I don't know, keep 8 people in line.
Well, I mean, in line, they can do whatever they want.
In a general line, so you can sort of do your story.
I don't know. I'm trying to be as diverse as possible because everybody comes up with wildly different ideas, so that's dope. Right. But 8's a lot of people. But if the game is streamlined in a manner that's faster than D&D, then that's okay.
That's true.
So I guess I need a game with more people is what I need to see how fast like a combat would go. Because once you know the system, right? Like, and if you can see the dice, you know, like, oh, I just won without me telling you just won, right? Which is, again, my goal. My goal is to make a system where the players can fight each other and they just roll against each other and work it out and do the abilities through the like chain of events, and boom, one of them dies. Perfect. All right, we did it. And I don't have to do anything, you know? Like, that would be so cool. I'm sure you could do that with D&D, but
probably
you'd have to like know each other's AC and all that stuff.
Say, there's a lot of stuff that people don't remember, like and in the moment you're not thinking about it, so you have to recalculate stuff constantly. And, you know.
Yeah. True. Okay, good call. I'll have to do a multi-person test. All right, dope. Again, that's all I got, I guess. Thanks for hanging. There's a bunch of people in Discord. What the heck is happening?
I don't know.
I'll have to go check the streams. Oh, maybe one of them is streaming, and I'll just take us there.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, I'm streaming, by the way. I didn't say that.
I assumed and turned the stream on, so it's okay.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't say that 2 hours ago, but whatever.
Thanks for warning me.
Hey, this is Texas. I don't have to warn anyone about anything.
Oh, right. Texas has different rules. Okay.
It's just the law, okay?
Sure.
The law is that I have to tell one of us that I will be recording.
And that person can be you.
Hey, we did it. I told
Yay.
me very early. All right, cool. They are not streaming.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming and testing the system and bringing fresh new ideas. You can make whatever you want. So if you want to make something else, go ahead and do it. I don't care.
Okay, I might try out this second idea I had.
Cool.
How to pans out.
Dope. Okay.
If I think of anything else, I'll let you know.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
And you as well. Thanks for chilling. I never even opened this Twitch thing up. I have chat, but I don't have open. All right, cool. I have my notes. I gotta work on this. Dope. And I gotta pee, so I'll see you later. Have a wonderful whatever. Deuces.
Have hearts. Have hearts. Have hearts. Have hearts.